At WSFS Bank, we stand for service. For some people,
Good morning, Mrs. Johnson.
great service means friendly faces at more locations. For others, it's mobile banking, so your money moves with you. For nearly 200 years, we've made serving customers our #1 priority. So whatever you or your business stand for, we'll stand right by your side. We're WSFS Bank, and our friends call us WSFS, and we stand for service. Visit WSFSbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 417673.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Terrence, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26 or the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated. Yatch.
What's good, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev McMillan. I'm at the round table with my family. Got Jimmy the Blueprint in the building, and B. Austin to join us in about 30 minutes. The NBA season is a week old, and we already got beef, suspensions, all that stuff. So we'll talk opening week. We'll update you on the World Series if you're interested. A few things happening in the NFL and a little bit more. So keep it locked right here. And if you want to get in on the conversation, make sure you sign in right now to the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 10 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number, as usual, is 323-410-0012. But before we get started, we got to pay some bills. Make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air, you check out archive episodes of our show. You can do that at warroomsports.com, the War Room Sports mobile app, which is free for you on on iOS and Android. You can also check out the show on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, most other places you do your podcast listening, man. And also before we get started, man, because I haven't been on and they haven't been on our show in a while, man. Shout out to the brothers over at the Broad Street line, man, Roy and Chris. I was looking on
Chris, what's the goodies?
I was looking on social media today, Jim, and on their show tonight, they're going to be talking about like greatest video games ever. So they were getting people to list some stuff on their post so they could shout it out during the show. Like, I just dialed up something random in my head and posted Excitebike. Like, yo, Excitebike joint. It's not like my favorite video game of all time or nothing, but it's the first thing that came to mind because it seems like it never gets any props, 25 years later.
Yo, the Excitebike flips was crazy. Yo, but you know what my shit was? Oh, my fault. You know what my joint was? Remember Paperboy, yo?
Yo. He used to throw the joints and, I don't know how dudes threw that many papers in a second.
Dude, paper game was mean. He was in the middle of the street, throw it halfway a mile across to the other house.
Yo, and he could Uzi them joints, too. So, like 16 papers at one house. His route got to be all wrong.
And keeping it sports related, Jordan versus Bird was that work. I'm not actually, no, it was Dr. J versus Bird first. Dr. J versus Bird.
Right.
And
then Jordan versus Bird. Didn't Jordan versus Bird series, didn't that turn into live?
I think so. But what's crazy about that is I remember playing Dr. J versus Bird that's damn near a couple of decades ago. And I remember at the time, because it was nothing like it, thinking like, yo, it can never get better than this. And in 2018, that's damn near in your crib now.
That was crazy. I know, like these days, you might as well just turn to the real game and just take your controllers out and just go for it.
The evolution of the game is crazy. The evolution of the sports video game is crazy.
Like now, these days, you can put yourself in the video game and you can damn near look like yourself.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, now these days,
all to be damned.
these days they're calling video games a sport. Like that's how far along they come. Shout out to Michael Jordan for his investment, but these days they're calling video games an actual sport.
I know people getting paid to play them. Shout out to the dudes that be crying because girls be erasing their stuff. You need some cat. But anyway,
yo.
So shout out to Roy and Chris, man. We gotta get them on the show sometime soon and chop it up like we used to do.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, let's get it in then, man. First, well, I did want to ask you something else, man, before we jumped into this, man. Like, we sending bombs through the mail now? Like, what kind of country, what kind of world we living in, man? That's what we doing?
It's wild, dude. Like, and you know, my wife gets on me because I don't check the mail because, like, don't nothing come in there but bills. Cause you can't email me now. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, but this is wild.
You want to check it now. That's the thing. Like, you used to be mad at somebody and you send them an email with a virus in it. Now they sending bombs in the mail.
Yeah, like I guess I could say when they can send bombs right to your email. And the conspiracy theorist in me wants to feel like, all right, who's really behind this? Is it the right or the left? Like, so I saw a hashtag MAGA bomber trending yesterday, and I'm like, you know, I watch too much TV, so I'm like, all right, now if this was scandal, maybe it wouldn't be coming from that side; it'd be coming from the other side. Right, now people were, you know, there was a lot of conspiracy theories like that because they're like, you know, we're right by the midterm election. Democrats might be a little desperate, so they send in, you know, or they do this whole bomb hoax to make everybody think that the MAGA side is the bad guys. There's a whole lot going on, man. Yo, it's just too much going on. Like, what happened to, like, you know, in the words of Bill Russell, like, life is very simple. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And most of the time we know what we're doing something wrong or right. We just try to justify it. Like, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy world, man, that we living in, man. The world is so, like, divisive. The world is so, like, split right now. And it's crazy because not that I was ever under the impression that, and I hate this term, people try to say that we're post-racial and all these other, buzzwords. I never ever believed that, but I'm not ignorant, right? But at the same time, I never thought we would see it this way. So in a weird way, I ain't ignorant. I can read. Yo, in a weird way, I think that, and I know people are gonna kill me for this. I think Trump is probably one of the best things to happen to this country. It's uncovering stuff that's been there under our noses. Exactly. People get mad when I say that. Yeah, I mean, but before Trump, I think everybody got too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And it probably is a good thing because now you know what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? The Honorable Nasir Jones, man, says you got to, like, destroy before you rebuild, man. So, you know, it is what it is, man. The thug changes and love changes and best friends become strangers. I don't know what they got to do with anything, but that bar was fire. That bar was so hard when I heard it, though. Be what I want to be. Yo, that bar had nothing to do with what we talking about, but, yo, it was really fire. My fault. All right, so let's get into some hot topics real quick. And before we do that, we got to let you guys know that Hot Topics are brought to you by MyBookie. Real quick, give me a minute. Let's talk some turkey and how much of it you can make betting on sports contests with MyBookie. The NFL and NHL are chugging right along. The NBA is underway. The World Series is already popping. So if you haven't yet checked out MyBookie, what the hell are you waiting for? Lay down some dough on the biggest games in sports. Join us and thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag. You're tired of getting a runaround when it's time for a payout? When it's pay me time? Shout out to It Was Written. That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. When you win, they pay fast, no hassles. You're basically wasting your time betting on sports anywhere else. Unless, of course, you're chilling up in the sports book in one of the lavish hotels in Vegas with a nice young lady. But that's a whole different story. They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after the game starts. Who knew? Join now and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 100% bonus. You heard it right, 100%. Just use the promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM, to activate that offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, and get paid, period. Now, speaking of gambling and MyBookie and all that kind of stuff, this is the segment where we usually bring on Gus Griffin to give you his NFL picks for the week. Gus is traveling abroad. We don't know if he's just traveling or is he running. But he actually did pretty good last week, and he did send in his picks. Last week he went 3-1, so that leaves him at 16-2 on the season. So let me get you his picks before we move on in the show. The first game that Gus is picking this week is the Thursday nighter, and he has the Dolphins plus 7.5 versus the Texans. Now his note tells me that the Texans routinely leave points on the field. So believe it or not, Osweiler had played well in both games and is clearly familiar playing in Houston. So we'll see how that one plays out. He did the over-under for the Colts and the Raiders. That over-under is 50. And in that one, he is going with the over for the Colts and Raiders, over 50. He said 2 passing teams and 2 poor defenses. He has the Panthers +2 versus the Ravens. Said the Ravens play as much man defense as anyone in the league, which will give Cam Newton a lot of running lanes. And I, that's true, because when you play a lot of man, your corners, your safeties, they end up turning their backs to the play to guard their men. And, yeah, that would give Cam Newton but you would think teams would adjust, Jimmy, playing Cam Newton. Like, you don't want to turn your back too much. But he said expect him to run for at least 60 yards in this upcoming game. And last but not least, we have the Green Bay Packers. Let me make sure, because he didn't even list who the Packers are playing this week. The Packers are playing against the... I don't know, I can't find it. Damn, why the hell I can't find the Packers game? On the
Yo, who the Packers playing?
They're playing the Rams. The Packers are playing the Rams this week. So he has the Packers plus 9.5 versus the Rams. And all he had to say was Mr. Aaron Rodgers. All right, so we'll see. Like I said, Gus had a pretty good week last week. So, if you trust him, go to mybookie.ag, sign in, get your 100% bonus to whatever you lay down, and get your bet on. So we're going to move on real quick. All right, the World Series is underway, and already the Boston Red Sox at home has jumped out to a 2-0 lead in this series over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Jimmy, I just wanted to talk about if they don't even have to win this World Series. I'm talking about the Boston Red Sox. I was just sitting thinking last night after, watching them get out to a 2-0 lead. I'm like, the fans in Boston and the New England region have to be the most spoiled fans on earth. If Boston ain't title town, like if you don't think Boston is title town, then we don't even say this type of stuff too much. You just hating.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, I actually watched the games. Shout out to my baseball heads who I always be talking trash about, but I actually watched the games in the World Series. And what amazes me is managers in MLB, like, when they get into, like, the playoffs and things, how they, like, outsmart themselves, trying to make,
things.
Right. They're just making pitching changes for specific batters. And, like, you got somebody that, like, mowed down the last 10 cats, and you like, oh.
Right.
Become a lefty.
But a lefty coming
change.
Like, dude, like, so you pitch like 15 dudes because you switching it up for every batter. Well, he has a good, ERA against this guy. So you bring him in for one guy the whole game.
And it kind of like been backfiring, but it's just interesting to me watching that like take place, and just in general, man. Like but it's also amazing to watch playoff baseball. It's nothing like playoff baseball, I will say that. But at the end of the day, man, you're right. They will be title town. I mean, they pretty much won in like every major sport. And when you think about this is also a sign of like getting old, because there's certain teams and things that happen in sports now, and like my reaction to them and like some of the younger generation, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yo, when I came up, the Red Sox were cursed. Right. Like, this didn't happen.
It's like once they broke through, though. Like they've been like the San Antonio Spurs of baseball. Like there's been, the run has been over the last decade and a half or 2 decades, but they're still here. They have some down years, but all in all, they're still here.
And that's the thing. Like I told you, I just grew up at a time where they was cursed. Like it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
man, but they are spoiled, man.
They are, and you can give them the moniker of Titletown and not even count the 15 championships that the Boston Celtics won last century. Like if you just want to count from the start of this century, from the year 2000, like the Celtics have won, the Patriots have 5 or 5 or 6. I don't know how many they got. They got too many. The Red Sox have a few. The Boston Bruins have a few. Like, really, if you don't think that Boston is Titletown, then you're just letting your emotions get in the way. These fans got to be spoiled. I'm not saying that they're a town that I think deserves all of this success because they still got some issues that are being brought to life in this MAGA time, but it's crazy of what's going on there. So they already got that 2-0 lead. Dodgers get to go back home. I know Magic will be happy because I saw him sitting out there in the cold. Magic ain't used to that kind of stuff. Even though he was born and raised in Michigan, Magic ain't been in a cold climate in how many years? Since like 1980.
Yeah.
So for the past almost 40 years, Magic has been a West Coast LA boy. I know he looked crazy last night. He ain't had time sitting in there and all that stuff. All right, so I'm going to go to the NFL real quick. I don't have a lot of deep NFL topics. I know, Jimmy, you still not. But I just had a question because I know if you haven't seen videos or read stories about this, I know you've at least heard about it and you know what it's about. But the whole Eric Reid, Malcolm Jenkins pregame standoff type of thing.
I say
we know what it's
the
about.
Community.
Right. We've talked about it plenty, like what it's actually about. So I'm not even trying to talk about that. I know where you stand. I know where B. Austin stands. I know where I stand on the whole thing. But like you said, the beefing in the woke community, like, do you think that was a good look out there? Like, did this have to be done this way? Like, we always, like, throughout history, we know that the woke community, you don't always share the same ideology. You don't always get along. I mean, you had Martin Luther King and Malcolm X having different ideologies. Everybody knows about that. But it's like in today's day and age, and we don't know what happened back then because, we didn't have social media. We didn't have 24-hour news cycles. So, Martin and Malcolm might have crossed paths and threw down a little bit, threw some hands. We don't know because they're never going to tell you those type of stories. But we've seen it over the last few years. Like you got cats like Umar and what's his name? Nasheed. What's his name?
Nasheed. Yeah.
Singing bowl.
Nasheed.
Yeah, you got dudes like that who, at different times in the past few years, like we've taken a liking to the stuff that they say. None of us ever just totally falls on somebody's word and every word doesn't matter to us and we don't agree with every single thing, but they've both done and said some nice things, for the black community to wake some people up, but then they get the beefing and it gets into childish name calling and stuff like that. So then you have the whole Eric Reid, Malcolm Jenkins thing, and Eric Reid needs to be restrained from him before the football game. What did you think? I didn't think it was a good look.
It's interesting, right? Because I have this ongoing debate with myself, and that's right, I do debate with myself. Because part of me feels like when it comes to issues, black issues, right? I try to keep the perspective of not being upset if someone disagrees with my philosophy or my strategy, if I feel like they have our people's best interests at hand. When it pisses me off is when I feel like people are being selfish and they don't have my people's best interests at hand. So, like, for instance, like I just actually finished reading one of Elijah Muhammad's books. He actually gave like Dr. King credit while also critiquing his strategy, but understanding in there he was calling for him to unite because, listen, his point was we all want what's best for our people. I can't be mad at you if you just think we should go about it a different way. But, and this is to Eric Reed's point, if I feel like you don't even want what's best for us, you just trying to you trying to get Rockefeller startup money, then I have a problem with it. Now, in terms of the display and how it looks when we fight, that's also like I kind of see both sides. I get the point of some people like we got to show unity, right? But then I also get the point of like keeping that same energy. And if you feel like someone is going against what's best for us, you got to put them out there. So
I don't even necessarily think you need to show unity. You could just do that somewhere else.
No,
like
that too. But it's also one of those things where, like, yo, this is the first time I see you. I'm gonna say what I gotta say, like, because I know that some certain cultures stay on code. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if I'm out with you and then someone swing on you, then we gotta fight. And then, like, even if I think it's your fault, I'm gonna tell you once we get back home. Yo, what's wrong with you?
Like I broke that boy's jaw, but you was dead wrong, Dev.
Yeah, like that's how you do it. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like that's what you do. But this is just a unique situation because I understand like both sides of it. Like it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, but the reason I'm saying this is because, especially in our community, both of these dudes are respected. Malcolm has lost a lot of respect because of this, because of what people think. I don't agree with everybody, calling him a sellout and all that kind of stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Between these two dudes, they were in the same group at one time. They were cool at one time. So we know that y'all got each other's numbers. So it's like, why we got to be out on the field looking like we about to throw hands? We already know what you're mad about. So even if we don't have that to talk about anymore, you know what I'm saying? You call me, tell me what the problem is, why you feel this way. I just didn't think it was a good look for them to be out there putting that on display, and they're both supposed to be positive brothers in the first place. Not that positive brothers can't get upset and throw some hands, but I don't know. I just didn't think it was a good look. And Eric Reed carried it over into the game, Jimmy. I know you didn't watch the game, but dude was on some crazy eyes type stuff, like the whole game. He almost fought. After that, like he almost fought like Carson Wentz. He almost fought who was trying to defend Carson Wentz? Zach Ertz, and you looked at him.
Now, see, that's the problem.
Put the camera on him, like his eyes was on some crazy eyes type stuff. I'm like, he's really angry, and I can understand being passionate for your cause, and you not thinking the dude had your best interest in mind, but I don't know. Eric Reed was drawing a little bit.
Yeah, but he definitely is drawing. And the funny thing is, like,
they'll catch Malcolm somewhere else, though. You'll catch him in Vegas.
You got it. It's how you do things. And to your earlier point, right? So, you when you watch documentaries or read books, you realize that a lot of people actually did exchange hands during the civil rights era. It's funny. I mentioned it before in our show, that HBO documentary about Dr. King, which was excellent. But they talk about like people disagreeing and literally coming to blows and not Dr. King because he just is getting socked because he was on that nonviolent shit. So he got socked by his people, socked by everybody. Dr. King stayed getting his chin touched. Anyway, that's another story.
Up on him because they knew he was
he wasn't going to hit back. But I think that, like everything else, it is like a running thing on our show. We just live in a different world where everything is captured, right? So everything is captured. And because everything is captured, it gives it and it's sort of like people haven't adjusted, and which is still weird to me, right? When you see people do something, and in your head you're like, don't they know everything's on camera in 2018?
Right.
You have to know that unless you do know that and you're using it because you want it on camera, right? Because
that's what I'm about to say.
We were talking.
They might be cool with that.
Because with everything being on camera, man, everything is just elevated and everything, and with people sharing information back and forth all day long, it's like anything that happens in life that's on camera, you get a gazillion think pieces about it, and everybody gives their perspective. So but it works both ways because so many things are shared. After a day or two outside of that fight we'll talk about later, stuff is out of the news cycle. So, I mean, you're right. You're right that they could have handled it different. But it's just like it's so many things going on there. It's so many things going on there because I think not that he's right. In his mind, he really believes dude is a sellout and dude like not saying he's right, but he really believes that. So when you find someone who quote unquote is a race trader or trades on the cause, then you gotta let that be known. You gotta let that be known. So
it was just in a haze for the rest of the game. Shout out to Eric Reed though, man. Kaepernick.
Yo, it's funny though because I have this conversation with people all the time, right? Because people get upset sometimes because I'll talk to a black conservative, right? And they be like, why you even talk to them or whatever? And not that I argue with them because I don't go back and forth with people no more because that's just like wasting space. But I like to see their perspectives because as long as I feel like you want what's best, right? I don't mind exchanging ideas or talking to you. But it's the moment when I feel like, yo, you're just all for self, which some people are. And when you listen to Eric Reed's comments after the game, and even like you said, carrying it, I didn't know he carried it on the field. That's the part I didn't know. But he was talking about it days later. Like, he really feels strongly about, like, the ball. And the funny thing is, like, we joke about it because I just find it funny to joke about the whole thing that he did. But I didn't realize, like, just going on Twitter, like, other players, like, a lot of the vitriol that he got for the decisions he made.
All right. Well, it is what it is between them dudes. That's between them dudes. Amari Cooper got traded to the Cowboys, which was kind of weird because Amari Cooper, you were off last season too. Amari Cooper is not the same dude from the last time you watched football.
I know, because when I heard about it, I was like, Amari is nice. What they talking about?
Yeah, Amari last year caught a real bad case of the dropsies, and like his fall off was faster than I've ever seen. I'm a fan, so I was always rooting for him. Can't root for him now because he's a Cowboy, but yeah, but they still got a first round pick from him. So by all accounts, everybody's still saying that Gruden and the Raiders fleeced them, but the reason they did that is because there were other suitors out there. The Eagles were offering a second, which I still think was too high for what his reputation has become. But I guess.
Hold up, Dev. Just got a Woj bomb come across the wire. Woj is reporting that the Rockets are making a renewed bid for Jimmy Butler, and they're like close in talks to it happening. He said that this most recent offer includes 4 future first-round draft picks.
Dang! The Rockets we gotta beat these dudes now. The Rockets decided it's man, we gonna be in the championship, and then we just gonna be garbage for the next 20 years. But y'all ain't gonna say I ain't bringing out this championship.
The Rockets are getting real aggressive right now, though, as it went. So we'll see what happens. But and that comes from Woj, so that it's real. And
I don't know how serious Harden's injury is, but he's having some hamstring issues again right now. They're probably getting aggressive, just in case this either nags, lingers on, or he has to miss some time now. We got to get some reinforcements in here. But I swear to you, man, after Jimmy Butler made all this stink, and I don't want this to happen. I'm not saying that because I like the entertainment of it myself, but I guarantee you that Jimmy Butler moves to another team, he's going to get hurt. He's going to be out for the season. That's going to happen.
Yo!
I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying, after all of this stink, I'm telling you, somebody's going to be mad as hell. It's probably going to be the Rockets after they mortgage their whole future to try to get this one last
Yo!
So what's your thoughts, though, if they get Jimmy Butler on the Rockets as is, because they sound like they're just going to give up every pick they own for the next century.
All right, so that would make their lineup what? CP3, you put Butler at the 2.
Yeah, he can play 2 or 3.
No, so Butler can't play 2 because Harden got to play 2.
Well, Harden's there, so he's going to have to go to the 3.
So Harden, then Butler at the 3.
Because you know what, Jimmy? They were, everybody was telling them, the Ariza loss is going to be more than you think. So Jimmy Butler plays defense just as good as Ariza and can give you 20 points a night. So Could be a fit.
So you put Butler there.
Could be a play fit, but maybe not an ego fit.
You still got your man in the fives. You got Melo coming out the pond. Melo just looks like a fish out of water with the Melo. He doesn't. Not that Melo looks amazing with OKC, but it's just weird. Like he doesn't play the same.
Melo is not gonna.
Oh no.
Look, he just can't. I don't think he can look amazing being the third and fourth option on any team. It's just not him.
Yeah.
He's not going to thrive their way, and then coming off the bench and not getting that rhythm right away, it's over for Melo.
It's tough. Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah, it pretty much is. Good thing he got paid. That's interesting, right? Because now I juxtapose that with watching the Warriors playing. I don't think it matters who they get. They can get Jimmy Butler. They can get
51
Butler.
and 3/4 last night, and you know Clay can do the same thing.
They can get Leroy Butler. They can get Jimmy Superfly Snooker. It don't matter who they get. Like, it just don't matter, man.
They can bring Mr. Butler a plate. Ain't none of that.
Yeah. Size plate.
A nice size plate.
Yo,
a lot of y'all out there that have no clue what we're talking about right now, but it's a lot of y'all that do. So shout out to y'all.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. But yeah. So it's interesting, man. But I do get the whole idea. Like, listen, we may not be there, but we're as close as we're gonna be. So let's go for it. So I kind of appreciate that. You know, we'll see though, man. I mean, if Harden is allowed to travel the way he does damn near every play, then they're gonna be right there.
Yeah, it'll be another 7-game series maybe. All right, well, let me get this stat of the week out of the way so we can go to the phone lines and then we can move on to some grinding some more hoops. We can get right back into this topic. Stat of the week is about Drew Brees again. I think last week's stat of the week was Drew Brees throwing whatever the hell he did last week, broke records.
Yo, every week he in a record book these days.
This week he threw his 500th touchdown, which makes him, I believe, the 4th player in NFL history to throw that many touchdowns. I got it right here.
Brett Favre,
is Manning, Favre, Brady, and Brees.
And Brady. Yeah, okay. So, yeah.
So he's the 4th person all time to throw, because Brady just did it the week before, because Brady's at 504, Drew Brees is at 501. So Brady and Brees will probably catch Peyton Manning next season, and one of those guys will be battling it out to be number 1 all time. But not only did he throw his 500th touchdown a week after Brady did it, he also became the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to beat all 32 teams in the league. Now, some people don't even qualify for this particular honor because there wasn't always 32 teams in the league. So,
yeah.
But, you know, a lot of new dudes. He's the 3rd quarterback to do that. And the usual suspects. One is Favre, and one is Peyton Manning, and the next is Drew Brees. The crazy part about this is that Tom Brady is not on the list because they spank the NFL every year. They're in the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
He's never been off of that team. I get it.
He can't beat the Patriots.
So it's probably the only
He'll never beat the Patriots.
I know he beat everybody else. They should.
He'll never beat the Patriots.
They should do an inter-squad scrimmage and let him do his thing.
Yo,
so he can get it now.
It's crazy though because I know people think I'm a Favre hater, which is probably true. Because when I hear his name mentioned with those, to me, he's just not even on the level with those guys though. Like, but I mean, that's my personal thing, man. I'm gonna leave it alone.
He is, but I'm still here for all the slander that you've ever given him.
All right, but here's my question though, right? So you take those 4 guys who are at the top. Are you picking him over any of them?
No, I'm probably not taking him over.
Exactly. So my point
Drew
is,
Brees, I still think doesn't get the respect that he deserves because, and I'm even talking about for myself in this moment because when you said that, like, I might think for a minute like Favre over Brees, but
never.
but no, I probably wouldn't take him over any of those guys. But I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But I'm here for
Favre. But out of those four, Favre got more turnovers than all of them. Maybe not Peyton Manning fumbled a whole damn lot, but Favre took more picks than all of them dudes.
Yeah, Favre was tripping. I mean, I don't like to to add in on giving him the excuse and giving him the gunslinger moniker. But it was true. Like, he was ignorant. He thought that he could make any throw. So a lot of his picks are like, yo, what are you doing? But because
see, that's the thing, though. Who got the leash to do that? A lot of quarterbacks who would do that didn't get that leash, and that just bothers me. And I'll never forgive him for giving that sack record up like a coward. That was the most cowardly thing I've seen an athlete ever do.
Well, a lot of people think that even though it was a 62-yard touchdown, it just looked so easy, and they just started talking about it. A lot of people think that the Washington professional football team gave Drew Brees that the record he set last week with the yardage, but it couldn't have been because they were still trying to win the game. But the crazy part about it was they started bringing his family down.
This year, though.
He was like 39 yards away from it, right? And they started bringing Drew Brees' family down. They started talking about it and everything. And as soon as they started talking about it, like it could happen in this drive, the very next play, dude's wide open on the sideline, catches it, and just runs down the sideline.
Let me ask you a question. And
but
again,
it would never look
I see on Twitter them like stop the game and start drawing for Drew Brees. But you mentioned something. You said Brady had just do his 500th the week before. And I'm just curious to know, did they make a big deal of the Patriots game?
I think they stopped it, but Drew Brees' game was on national TV, I think, so it might have been.
Okay, so that's why it was a big deal. Okay, all right.
Yeah, they was super drawn. With Brady, they was just drawn.
Okay.
And Brady, you know how he is. He probably told him, like Giselle don't even understand what's going on. She don't need to come down here. All she knows is receivers ain't catching the ball, and she going to shoot the track. So. All right, so that's the stat of the week, but we got Tobias waiting on the phone line. I know he got some bars, and I know he probably got a couple for somebody that we talked about earlier.
Uh-oh.
But Tobias, what's going on? Roll damn tide.
Roll damn tide. No, hey, let's save Fred some time. Well, Fred is consummating his marriage right now. Good congratulations to Fred out there.
Yeah,
Mr. Purdue. Congratulations.
Fred Purdue, a shout out. He just joined that club, Tried to tell him don't do it, reconsider, but no.
Yo, first of all, Tobias, right? I know that you worship at the altar of Bull Connor with your roll damn tide, but I think that from now on, when you call it, you should say roll damn Zach Levine or something, at least for a little while.
Hey, man. Zach Levine is on a hot streak, right? He's on a hot streak. Holler at me at the All-Star break.
Yo, but you got to give him credit.
He will when he's sitting on the edge of the bench in his first appearance.
It's not that he's putting up 30, but he's being efficient. The other night he shot 11 for 15, and he's getting to the foul line like a star player is supposed to. Not calling him a star.
I ain't gonna lie, that's surprising me right there because I like take it to the hole more. You can jump, but here's the best news of the Bulls. Chris Dunn is out, so that means everyone's favorite dancing guy, Cam Payne, is the starter for 4 to 6 weeks. And the funny part is, people are like, who the hell is Cam Payne? Because I showed a picture of him dancing. That's him.
He ball out of his mind. They're going to show somebody.
Pass the ball to Zach and get out the way and let Zach do his thing, man.
It dance.
Tobias was like, look, I'm on to something. He's just going to trash him every year because they're going to play well afterwards. Campaign about to ball out. He about to be Scary Terry. He about to get that Terry Rozier type attention.
Just like this one guy said, writes for the Bulls, said, I went to the dentist and I had to talk about the Bulls today. Man, how am I so lucky? But here's the thing. Yes, I like the Dodgers. Y'all talking about baseball. The problem with analytics in sports sometimes is sometimes in that postseason, you just got to roll with your best guy sometimes. Forget what the clipboard says. Sometimes you got to roll with your best people. And, yes, it's like your top 3 hitters are left-handed. I don't care if the starter's left-handed. You put them out there.
Right.
They're your best guys. You hit anyway.
He pitches against these guys during the regular season. You know what I mean? And these aces are coming out of here with these sub-3 ERAs, but like Jimmy said, and like you're alluding to now, we get into the playoffs, and that's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, we we got to switch him up because this guy, like, they overthink things sometimes and it puts them in a bind. I agree with you, Tobias, man. Just go with your guys.
Yeah, and I always point to Houston Rockets. Did the analytics say anything about missing 27 threes in a row in Game 7? A mid-range can't be that bad sometimes.
Well, here's the thing, Tobias, and this is just playing devil's advocate. Here's the thing about analytics, right? Analytics is all about probability.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is you'll never get 100% right. But with the
You won't.
And another thing is, from a coach's standpoint, if I use analytics and I fail, not that it gets you off the hook because it still goes with you, but to say I just used the numbers in front of me and it didn't work out is different than using your gut and your gut being wrong. Because when you use your gut and your gut is wrong, there's nobody else to blame. You can't even point to no numbers. Because then what happens is they try to hang you the other way around.
You can't even get no nerds fired. Like, you can't get the nerds fired.
Because they hang you the other way around. Well, the analytics say you should have did this, and you just went along with your gut. Why would you do that? So what's the worst case scenario? I use the numbers and it doesn't work, or I don't use the numbers and it doesn't work. That's kind of what that is. It's all about probabilities, man. It's all about probabilities. At this point, analytics is never going anywhere.
Because of the point you just made, that's why coaches are accepting of them now. Because you got a bunch of old head, old G dudes who like, man, I know a goddamn good basketball player when I see it. The eye test, blah, blah, blah. But they're going to go with this because they're like, okay, this is the new NBA. Plus, I do have somebody to blame if this ish don't work.
Mm-hmm.
I can get the nerd fired. But like you said, if it blows up in your face, then, the next head coach of that team might be some dude.
Because here's the thing about analytics, right?
Never played the game before.
Here's what people have to understand. When you talk about analytics, you're talking about models. You're talking about mathematics. This has been used in sports since the beginning of time. They just use complex algorithms now as opposed to just simple ones and wrap it around the whole thing of analytics and make it seem like it's something new. But when you really, really break it down, the idea of punting on fourth down, right, that's analytics. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, so it's always been used. It's just that now they try to, like, sometimes they take things too far, and there's more data available. So now with more data available, because back in the day,
they took statistics. I'm not even talking about, point scored, those type of sports statistics. I'm talking about the actual math statistics. They took statistics and made it into analytics. We're just doing deeper statistics. But the thing is,
mathematics. Right? When you talk about statistics, you can overanalyze till the cows come home. But at the end of the day, there's certain things, which is why so many people love the PER, because they think that the PER is like the perfect combination of going like, is not just a statistic, but it's something that can actually tell you something. But the thing about it is, depending upon how you set your formula up,
I can over a dope beat.
Yeah. So that's what's interesting about it. But that to me is one of the reasons why coaches do that, is because there's something to fall back on, and it's one thing to make a mistake when you have numbers rather than just making a mistake that's all on you. Some people believe that data is better than feelings all day long. You can tell me about your feelings. I feel this, I feel that. But if you say I feel that based on this, it's a whole different thing. So it just applies to sports, right? So if someone is making a decision, say a politician or something, and they're saying I use the data to do it, it's kind of like, so it's based on something. A lot of times in life, people make decisions based on nothing, right? And a lot of coaches do that. So that's all it is, Tobias. But the analytics is here to stay, so it's like you have to figure out a way to make it work with what you're doing. And I think the Warriors are a team that have, and I hate using them as an example because they have three of the best players in the world on their team. Three of the best shooters. I shouldn't say three of the best players. I mean, some would argue that too, but they have the three best shooters on their team. So using them as an example using them as an example is terrible. But the point is, what I'm talking about with them is when you watch the way they move, even with their ownership and their general manager and everything they do, they've kind of like figured it out. They use analytics on their team, but they also use the eye test. They also have amazing athletes. They also have like the best facilities, the best trainers, the best everything. That's what makes the whole Durant thing like suck, because if Durant doesn't come there, and they probably still would have won the same championship they won, maybe not, we would be talking about them completely different. It's like they may never get their due in history because of Durant in a weird way.
And that's why Durant's going to leave, I think. Because I think he wants his due.
Yeah, because they put it all together. They literally put it all together. And you sit back and look and you say, damn, they really put it all together. Like, but analytics in terms of like thinking of a team, because when you think about the Rockets, you think about they haven't found a way to mesh it very well yet. They're like 100% on the analytics, or they're 95.5. They're 95.5. And I think even the Sixers were getting there, but like it's just something missing. The Sixers were getting there in terms of being able to mesh the two. You have to figure out how to mesh the two.
Yeah, because you know what? And it's like you guys talking about what's his name, Eric Reed and Malcolm Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, I believe that's something like that you can hash out behind closed doors, especially y'all playing the same week as that game against each other, where you can have someone probably sit in the office sit in the back room with you, and y'all can hash this stuff out. Because I just believe that, one, I know we don't think this way, but look at the general public. It's like, see, it's like optics in my opinion. And that Eric Reed is still on a 1-year deal right now. He doesn't have a 5-year contract right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just believe it's that I used to like it was a good look. But at the same time, I hate the fact when Michael Jenkins we invited Kaepernick to the players thing. He ain't a player. He don't have a job. So why should he show up? He don't have a job there. I'm not going to show up at a player thing if I'm being blackballed out the league. Now, if I retired, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wish they could have Eric Reed could have handled it another way. At least just talk behind closed doors. We could have somebody sitting in the room with you in case you get heated, and it never would have come out.
They have Kaepernick sit in the room with them. Then they probably roll on him. So that ain't good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so many things that go into this whole situation. And I get your point, though. The optics are what they are. But sometimes, right, and this is the problem with moving off emotion, is that you ain't thinking about the optics. You're not thinking about the optics. You're upset. It's like if you ever get in an argument with someone and you just let your hands go because you're so upset, but after the fact, you're like, yo, why say that? Because you moved off of emotion, right? And that's the problem with it. Like, to hear him tell it at least after, and again, I didn't see, like, everything, but I listened to him after the fact. And like I was telling Dev, I knew people were upset at him, but I didn't know that, like, I didn't know it was that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know, like, it was, like, that many players and people were that upset at the boy. Like, we joked about it, but I didn't know it was that. Like,
I didn't either. I didn't know it was a lot of other players, man. I didn't see that either. I didn't see that.
You talking mad at Malcolm or Eric Reed? Which one?
Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Yeah,
Malcolm.
Can I be honest about Malcolm Jenkins? I'm not knocking the guy. Let's start with two quick things. First, let's just be honest about this one. First, that whole money thing going to causes, white folks, white supremacists, they've been giving money to black folks forever. It's hush money. It's called HBCU because they ain't want your black butts going to their schools. So they'd rather put money up so you shut up and go to your own school. Or like donate money. But also, Malcolm Jenkins make white folks feel comfortable.
I just don't understand what y'all don't understand about that, though. Because, like I tried to explain before, this really wasn't the NFL's fight. The protest was just going on the NFL's lawn. So if I'm a store owner and somebody's on the block protesting, I think I used this analogy before. Somebody's on the block protesting something, but it's not a good look in front of my business. So if I come out and I'm like, yo, what can I do to get y'all to move down the block a little bit? Like, what is wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Especially if my store doesn't have anything to do with what you're actually protesting, but, you know, I got the best store in town, so if you do it in front of my store, you're going to get some attention for it. So I'm coming out as the owner of the store, like, yo, can y'all move this down the block? I'll do something for y'all. Like, I'll come down there and give y'all, you know, if I just got a convenience store, I give y'all free waters and snacks for your whole protest if you move down the block. Like, I don't understand.
See,
like, what's the problem with that? Why would I want that?
I tell you what it is, Dev. a lot of black folks take that as a win because they gave them the money, not realizing that stuff. I believe I can't say what folks do with their money, but I believe, like, especially if you got an ear of your owner who got those political ties in the city and most likely the state as well, to be like, hey, can you at least get me an audience with the governor, the mayor, and let's talk about some of these things that we could do, because I know you talked about this stadium, you got their ear. So can we at least sit down and talk?
The dude that all of y'all are killing has sat in front of mayors and governors and people like that. Like, because of this particular thing, everybody now want to act like Malcolm Jenkins didn't do his thing in the community until Kaepernick. Yeah, he might have shined off of the fact that it came into the NFL and they had a bigger audience. But I hear people talking that all the time, like when they talk about how he co-opted his movement. Like, this dude wasn't out fighting for the people long before Kaepernick came down and took a seat. That's the part about the whole thing that I don't understand. And my whole thing
well, here's the thing,
you're getting
I feel like
money for these organizations from an organization that's not even culpable for the problem that you're protesting, then why is everybody so upset? How are you a sellout for that? That's what I don't understand. Yeah, but y'all can.
But no, you're right. He had a reputation for being serving the community before all this. But I guess that's kind of their point. Now, when this pops up, you want to kind of like. So, and I also get your analogy of the NFL, like in the store whole thing. But their thing is, like, he kind of removed some of their leverage because they feel like they could have gotten more.
Because if he chooses not to kneel, that's on him. Like, people are still kneeling. It's not like they said, "Hey, we gave Malcolm that money. You can't do that." Like,
no. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. All warfare is based on deception, right? So they feel like the NFL deceived them. First of all, it's a whole divide and conquer thing, because when you think about, like, when they were doing this, it kind of looked at like it split the pairs in like the two different factions, and in fact they said it really did, right? So now the NFL has you. So it's sort of like I can be racist, but I can say I'm not racist because I have a black friend. Look what I did for my black friend, right? Mm-hmm. He's the black friend. So you can say whatever you want to say about our league and what we're doing, but we took care of Malcolm Jenkins. So obviously, what you're saying is not true, right?
But I don't even look at it. Even me, who doesn't think that he did something, terribly wrong. I don't look at it as them taking care of him. Just like with the store analogy, like, I'm not giving y'all ninjas free waters and free snacks because I care about you. I'm doing that so you can get the hell out from in front of my store. It's a business move.
Yeah,
I
understand that. But what I'm saying is, now
I don't even think anybody should look at it like that, and they shouldn't even try to say.
They gave him an Andrew Wiggins. They gave him an Andrew Wiggins community service package, right? Cool. But now they're going to point to that. They're going to point to that in their argument against the other side, who's a little bit more radical and looking for more. They're going to point to that, and I think that's their point. Don't take anything for your organization. Keep doing what you're doing with your organization. That's cool, but don't take anything based upon this uproar that we've caused, because now they're going to use that in their debate against us. So I get that.
And that's another thing. Like, money, it hasn't been doled out yet, but the money that they doled out was supposed to be for several programs. It wasn't supposed to be just for his organization. Everybody's trying to make this into some personal thing, like Malcolm Jenkins took the money and put it into his own Wells Fargo, like, just for his stuff, and that's not the truth.
I mean,
and I think he's a bigger man than me to sit here and take all that and not feel the need to explain yourself. But when you explain yourself to people who already got their minds made up, it's a waste of time. And I understand that he feels that.
That's possible, or it's something there that we don't know. Maybe it's something else.
It's like me talking to DJ Willie G about something. Like, he don't understand what I'm talking about. So.
But at the same time, Dev, it might be something else there that it might be something else there that we don't know. For them,
he might have put something in his pocket. I don't know that.
The one thing I do know, and I'm not saying it could be a coincidence, but a couple weeks after he cut that deal, he did open up a new store on Walnut Street around 8th and Walnut. So he did open up a new haberdashery up there. And I mean,
he had that money before.
That's a fact. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I'm just saying he opened up a new store right on 8th and Walnut. So good for him for that. But I going back to the optics of it, even if it's not fact, sometimes the optics aren't the facts. Believe nothing you see, and what they say. half of what you hear and whatever, however that saying goes.
I just think that we use strong language against each other, man. Like, sellout is a very strong word. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude is doing stuff for the black community, whether you like the way he separated from that particular movement or not. Like, sellout is a strong word. Let's find something else like, you know, like, damn, he shed on our particular movement. Whatever. I mean, but sellout. Like,
I hear you, but I hear you, but I also heard Malcolm call Martin an Uncle Tom, literally. Call him an Uncle Tom.
Yeah, I mean, and that's strong.
And I'm not comparing Malcolm Jenkins and Eric Reed to Malcolm and Martin. But
that's
what
I'm saying. Those kind of words are strong, and we saw how Malcolm X's ideology started to change before he died, and he felt bad about some of the stuff that he said about Martin, because he was just on some, you know, Elijah Muhammad's word is gospel, and this is what they think, and this is what I think type stuff.
You guys know what? Before I go, I'll say this.
And I'm not even talking about this situation, but look how quick, like, the black community are to call another black person a coon. Like, you can walk by on the street and chuck a deuce at Donald Trump, and you're a coon. Look at this coon. Like,
Listen, man.
Like, we hard
but
I also think that
some of us, like, take that stuff too much too. Like, we do that, but so does everybody else. And I know that we shouldn't be concerned with everybody else.
But I don't care.
But I think overall we're just paws harder on each other at every turn. Whether it's what we call each other, but even in our response to how we call each other, right?
But Jim, I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of intelligent black people out there who are free thinkers, and this is the stuff that they come up with their own mind. But I swear to goodness that there's a windfall of just people, just sheep that just jump on any bandwagon, don't really understand everything. But hey, this is what they saying he did. This is what they saying it is. This is what I'm gonna call him. Like,
you know what? I'll say this before I run. I'll say this before I run.
We done co-opted his phone call. My bad, Tobias.
Yeah, you Malcolm's over here. You Malcolm and Josh Gordon's over here. At least Malcolm can still play like Josh Gordon. But here's the thing.
Malcolmed you and just ran off with all the ratings and the listeners. But go ahead.
You know what? And like y'all talk Malcolm and Martin, people don't realize Dr. King's kind of line of thinking kind of changed as well, evolved over time.
They started to meet more in the middle. Like he started to turn into Malcolm.
I think they pass each other. I think they pass each other. Yo, I don't know. Listen, matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the group chat and tag y'all too, Paul. That documentary, y'all gotta see it because Malcolm was ready to pick up guns before. Like Martin had Pat. I don't even think they were meeting in the middle. I think one boy was going completely the other way.
But when you're a human being and all the stuff we talked about earlier, ain't you tired of getting socked? Like, I'm gonna shoot somebody too, man. I'm gonna go to jail. Like, y'all gonna keep putting me in jail anyway. I'm gonna just go for the long haul, man, because I'm tired of getting socked.
Hey, you know what? And you know what? One thing also is that, and the thing is that I just believe is that it's like they are just trying to divide and conquer, and I think that we have to be, we do be hard on each other, but the problem is we gotta start. It's like when a black person says something, we are less forgiving of them than we are to white people. We will hop on, and it's like we don't listen. It's like, for example, right? Black people get mad at me because I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm just there for whoever said they want to help out black people. So I don't care who your affiliation is.
I'm a registered independent as well, right? So I totally get that, and I've had the arguments before. I didn't even back Hillary. I got into several arguments about that. But the one thing I recognize about us, which is weird because I don't think a lot of people recognize is, like, we're not monolithic people. So,
we're not.
And for some reason, we are always judged by, if one person does something, they judge all of us by that, right? So I watch, like, reality TV, and they'll judge us by the people on reality TV, but they don't judge them by Honey Boo Boo, who was worse than anybody on black reality TV. But they don't judge them by that, but they judge us by that.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
even our own
this
people,
this is what I will concede to, because all three of us, we've had this debate for like 6 months. This is what I'll concede to. I think Malcolm Jenkins, by, you know what I'm saying, still going through with this after the other side spoke about their dissension and was like, I'm out of this group. I think he allowed for the divide and conquer. But I think that man is so far from a sellout. I think that's way out of bounds. But I will concede that he allowed for the divide and conquer.
Well, and here's the thing, right? I think sellout is strong language, but I also don't have all the information in terms of what he did, because for me, it's something missing there. For these guys to be that mad, he did something that we don't know about, or something they tripping. But he did allow himself to be played.
Even a little bit of the dissension. Like I said, I didn't see as many people as you did, but even the dissension that I saw, it was never to an Eric Reid level. Eric Reid, I think his emotions are in it because he and Cap are so close and so strong. Yeah. He's different. I don't think any of these other guys are going to go out here and try to throw hands.
No, all the other guys pretty much. When
Eric Reid, his emotions
I disagree with what he did. I agree completely with that. Right. But I see other guys that send out tweets and stuff like, I disagree with him. I disagree with what he did, yada, yada, yada. But I also want to call Naj, who
a lot of
Naj brought up a point, I think, last week or the week before, and he said, listen, he said that all of it's trash anyway when you give to these charities, because 80% of it goes to administrative fees. So if you want to help somebody, give directly. So, and that point stuck with me. Like, I've been thinking about that since he said it. Like, he's absolutely right.
I give money to bums on the street all the time.
I give money to young
and I
ladies
say this, and I got to run. But like,
nothing for him.
I say this, and I got to run. But look at the Susan G. Komen. Most of that money is going to the folks who run the thing. And I'll leave y'all with this. I watched that on Netflix. They were talking about the NBC had a series, I think it was the 60s, and they had Stokely Carmichael marching next to Dr. King. And they were talking about nonviolence. Dr. King talking about nonviolence. Stokely Carmichael was like, when y'all gonna start telling white people stop being violent towards us? And that always stuck with me.
Hey, that was one of the illest things I ever saw, because they were literally walking next to each other, like,
bingo,
disagreeing. And but see, that stuck. That has always stuck with me, because it's kind of what I said earlier in the show. Is like, I find myself like not being more forgiving, but trying to be understanding. As long as I feel like somebody has our best interest at heart. Once I feel like you're being selfish, and in that scene, I know exactly what you're talking about, because both men respected each other, although they disagreed with methodology. But they both were like, look, we both want was. I think Dr. King actually said it too. Like, I don't like the way they're going about it, but he's fighting for us. So how can I be mad at him?
Yeah, no doubt.
Probably they don't think Malcolm Jenkins fighting for. They think Malcolm Jenkins fighting to get a new whip.
Which is silly, but it's funny as hell.
All right, Tobias, man, thanks for your call, man.
Tobias already bounced.
Master got him already.
Y'all took over my call. Gonna tell me thanks for my call.
Definitely Malcolm Jenkins.
Malcolm hell out of his call. All right, let's get into these grind topics real quick. We got some more people on the line. We're gonna get to y'all, but that conversation, which was not supposed to be that long. We weren't even supposed to get into the details of it. We just wanted to talk about the optics with two brothers on the field doing that before Sunday's game. And, of course, we always get into the details of things we say we're not. But real quick, you guys can, you know what it is. Y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com. But right now, if you want to hit us, you can do that in either the chat room, which is at blogtalkradio.com/the war room, or you can give us a call and hold the line until we get to you. That number is 323-410-0012. Just press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. Like I said, we got some on the line. We see y'all. Just hold tight. We're going to get to you in a minute. Jimmy, tell us what happened this week while you good people were on that grizzon.
Yes, sir. And while you were on the grind, it's brought to you by Sports the Book. It's quite simply the greatest sports book ever written. You can pick it up at sportsthebook.com or warroomsports.com, but you got to pick it up and engage in conversation with us about that book.
Do not miss the movement, but it's time to talk about what happened while you were on the grind. So in the transgender section of our what happened while you were on the grind, the first story is Jello Ball, that is. Our Ball brothers update. There's a transgender woman that says she has a sex tape with Jello.
Jello.
The only one out there who don't have a scandal at this point is what? Mello got in a Rumble. I guess you can call that a little bit of a scandal, but Rumble ain't taking care of it.
The other one
is
man.
I guess if you want to frame it that way, you can. Yeah, you can do that. Wumble
calls a war, man.
Wumble is not taking care of his seed. Now we got the middle son who can love the women with poles. So,
come on.
So the thing is, man, what did you hear about this story, and what's your perspective on it? You think it's true? Not true? Do you care?
I heard it happened. I heard he was out in Vegas for the Canelo Triple G fight, and while he was there, he was partying with transgender bottle host Marina Fuentes. While they said his current girlfriend, Jalen Owens, who is not the chick from the show, and his ex-girlfriend, Izzy Morris, the one from the show, they were having an Instagram fight over dude while he was in Vegas smashing a transgender. So Jello, these dudes have all kinds of stuff going on right now. I'm wondering, because I've seen pictures of this Marina Fuentes person. Like, but you never know. They just say somebody's transgender. That's because they put that information out there. But have they gone all the way with their operations? You know what I'm saying? Because if they haven't, I don't see how you make this mistake unless it wasn't a mistake. So, I'm going to give Jello the benefit of the doubt and say, he maybe didn't know, but obviously this person seems to be famous because when they write stories about it, they just say transgender Vegas bottle host Marina Fuentes. Like, if we're in the party scene, we're supposed to know who the hell that is. So
yeah, when you said it like that, I was like, she popping like that?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So maybe it was one of them things with Jello was like, look, man, I don't discriminate. She identifies as a woman now, so I'm going to treat her like one. I don't know. But
yeah,
these dudes.
The crazy part, I was thinking about it, and maybe it's funny because as I saw this story, I was like, I gave myself a pat on the back in terms of how I've matured over the years because I was like, y'all don't even care. If that's what he wants to do, that's his thing. Like,
you be arguing with yourself. You be patting yourself on the back. You your best friend.
Definitely, yo, I'm lit. I think that's the problem with the world. Most people don't even understand how to communicate with themselves, man. But no, because I really was sitting there thinking about I really don't care no more. Like, if that's what you want to. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, man. Shop in Mr. C, man. Like, listen, man, that's your thing, man. Everybody got their thing, man. Just be good to people. Just treat people right, Jello. That's what you want to do. Go ahead and do that, man. But just be good to people in the world, man. Anyway,
communicate with myself
next
with pulling
story.
motions.
Yeah, I'm leaving that one alone. No comment. Next.
Like your man on the line, he probably doing that right now as he waits to get on the line.
The next story in the transgender section of what happened while you were on the grind. Boy said he want to share tender moments with himself. Listen, this is a MMA story. Shout out to Sid from Outsports.com. I remember he came on one time with us to talk about a transgender MMA fighter, and that conversation kind of got heated. Yeah.
This is actually the same person, Fallon Fox. And this story is old. It just came back up this week because of the conversation.
Yeah. Transgender MMA fighter broke the skull of her female opponent. Broke the skull. This is where, listen, this is an I don't want to call it interesting. It's you can't have this. You just can't have this. I don't know what the answer is.
Let me frame it first, Jim. Let me frame it for the audience first, because this fight that she's referring to actually happened in 2014. The argument was being had, which is it's being had in society every day. So when I say that, I don't mean like a private argument between people. the argument that we have in society right now is, have we become too politically correct? Are we becoming too careful so we don't offend groups and people like that? So during one of these debates, this is when the woman Tamika Brents told her story of when she fought Fallon Fox, who was born a man, became a woman, and got into the MMA field. Now, it was a lot of controversy over this, and I think it still should be, because whether or not you want to throw it in women's face, because I've seen people do this, Jim, throw it in women's face. Well, y'all said everything's equal. Y'all said y'all can do everything a man can do, but we know that's not fair, because physically, overall, men and women are built differently. So let me read you the quote of what she said she went through in 2014 when she fought against Fallon Fox. She said, "I fought a lot of women, and I've never felt the strength that I felt in a fight as I did that night. I can't answer whether it's because she was born a man or not, because I'm not a doctor. I can only say I've never felt so overpowered ever in my life, and I am an abnormally strong female in my own right. I still disagree with Fox fighting. Any other job or career, I say have a go at it. But when it comes to a combat sport, I think it just isn't fair." That's what Tamika Brent said, and I think I agree with her wholeheartedly. And I know a lot of people will be upset about that. That's what this conversation is about. Like, we tiptoe around things and we say things that we probably don't mean just to keep everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? We have friends in this community. Timmy just said it. Like, Sid from Outsports has been on our show plenty of times. We've been on his show. We've been at sports conferences together. But Sid know that we keep it just as real as he does, because we've had some heated arguments in a bar about, things such as the LGBTQ community versus the civil rights movement, because, there's a lot of people out there who try to equate the two. So we definitely had it out with him one night about that at a sports conference. But I agree with Tamika Brents, man. It's just different. The makeup is different. But at the same time, she said this after the fight. What the hell did you take the fight for?
You ain't think
this ideology before the fight? Like,
probably
not
one
of those people
listen,
thinking we can do anything a man can do.
Man.
And then he showed you what it was.
The prophet Malik Abdulaziz said everybody has a plan till they get hit in the face. And you probably thought that, this is something I could do. And you got hit with that power and was like, what did I get myself into? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is an interesting debate, because, you don't want people getting hurt. Like, you don't want any unfair advantage. I mean, you start to try to, like, juxtapose this to other sports with, men, like, going into the WNBA or any other sport.
Like, I mean, when they found out Joanna Man was a dude, they was all mad. So we can't be doing this. Like if Chris Bosh went, no mind. But listen, the argument, the overall argument that we just spoke about, though, like, I think it could be had without the super tiptoeing, because the thing is, we just all have to be respectful of each other, but we still should be able to speak our minds and just do it in a respectful manner. Like, if I'm having an argument with somebody from the LGBT community, I can't be in the argument calling people the F word. Like, I don't think an F word should be in the sport that I'm playing. There's a way that you can get your point across and be respectful at the same time. But I think people, they worry about what other people think too much, and they tiptoe around things that they really would like to get off their chest, and they don't. So
it's weird though, because we live in a world where we're so quick to want to cancel somebody, right? And it's funny because I was telling my wife about this earlier. Like, I watched the whole Khalif Browder documentary, right?
Man, you made me watch that, man. But
before watching that documentary, right, I had heard the story, right, just small pieces of the story, but I had, like, my mind made up about him, about the situation. And then when I watched the documentary,
until you watch it.
Then when I watch the documentary and I get the context, I get the perspectives, my whole mind shifted about how I felt about him and how I felt about that situation.
like it was eye opening. But with that like made me going back to having a conversation with myself. Like I was sitting there thinking about the fact that context and perspective are so important, and a lot of times we don't get that because we want to react to everything so fast in this day and age. I mean, they tried to cancel my man Brother Nature last week from a tweet that he sent out when he was 12. Like, meanwhile, this dude feeds animals and runs a nonprofit organization. He literally serves the people. But a tweet. So my point in saying that is,
haters, man. As soon as he showed up in that Malcolm mobile, people wasn't banging with him no more.
Yeah. But my point in bringing all this up is how I'm tying this together is like when you talk about having the conversation and not being afraid to say something. A lot of times we want to, as soon as you say something someone disagrees with, is he's homophobic or he's racist or he's that. Now people say, well, Jimmy, you would do the same thing if a white person, like people always try to hit me with that, right? But at the same time, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Because first of all,
next thing you know, you done lost your job because you tried to keep it real.
Yeah, I wouldn't for one, and also like I'm at the point in my life where I don't even care how they feel, right? So, but I do want to hear it because I like to be challenged because I like for one of my thrills in life is for someone to change my mind about something.
Right.
That's what life's about. Life's about growing and getting new information and opening up your mind, right? So having these conversations is too difficult now. Like, it's really too difficult. You got, cats where you will lose your job just be like, I don't like that Fallon Fox. Next thing you know, you don't have no gig. Like, huh? This is the world we live in.
It's crazy. I mean, and plus, you got all the cameramen and the filmographers out there who now they just want to get you on video doing something crazy so they can give you the next moniker and have a viral video. You know what I'm saying? If I go outside right now and have an argument with, one of my white neighbors in the driveway, and, this boy going to be Driveway Danny, and it's going to go viral, and he's going to lose his job. It's crazy these days, man. Everybody's getting canned. You can't say what you mean. I mean, some people are off the hook and doing the wrong thing, but in some of those instances, it's not always worth what happens afterwards to that person. All right, we took this one too far, but
yeah.
But
man. So that's just that section of our our grind topic. Let's talk about another grind topic. Let's talk about more debauchery. Let's talk about Chad Kelly being arrested for criminal trespassing and released by the Broncos. The quarterback Chad Kelly. So with your man Chad Kelly, yo.
Chad Kelly was arrested early Tuesday morning. First of all, really? Like, who partying on like a Monday night, Tuesday morning? He was
that was
arrested
stuck out to me
Tuesday
too.
morning
What's wrong with this boy?
on criminal trespassing charges because he entered a Colorado family's home at around 1 a.m. They said he entered the home uninvited and sat on a couch near the front door next to the woman who lived there and her young child. I think she might have been nursing a child or something. He just walks in there. First of all, what they doing up at 1 o'clock? But he walks into that, maybe because they do have a new child. He always the hell up at 1 o'clock. He walks in there, sits next to her on the couch and just chills. And they said he was talking like he was like mumbling some stuff, some incoherent type stuff. The man of the house came down and tried to hit, he hit him, tried to beat him out of the house with a vacuum tube. I'm like, first of all, he should be ashamed of himself. That's the best thing you're going to protect. Like, I'd rather you just punch the dude or slap the dude than hit him with a vacuum tube. Like, I'm pretty sure a vacuum tube doesn't hurt. Later the police found him sitting in an SUV somewhere nearby this house, just chilling. And he was charged with first-degree criminal trespassing. I just found out some new information on the story because all I knew was that, and then subsequently John Elway said, nah, he's not worth it, and they cut ties with him. I found out that earlier that night he attended an annual cowboy-themed party hosted by Von Miller. We'll talk about that another time. But they said while at the party, he reportedly got into an altercation with another guest. And then later he got into an altercation with the security hired for the event. And then I guess when he left there, it just all went awry. He just went to a random house and sat on the couch. This sounds drug related to me. I don't like to speculate, but I'm going to speculate. Chad Kelly is on something, and whatever that something is, he got the best of him that particular evening. Because it just sounds crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all I got on Chad Kelly. I mean, this is that EMCC. Shout out to Coach Buddy at EMCC. I mean, Chad Kelly was a problem then. He looks to continue to be a problem now. Crazy part about it, he's a talented dude, man. But that's why he was a 7th round pick in the first place, because off the field stuff.
Yo, man, what's wrong with this ball, man? Like, the first thing I said, same thing you said, Tuesday. Like, come on, guys, go to bed, man.
You get in trouble on a Tuesday.
Go to bed. It's going up on a Tuesday. Yo, listen, man, this story right here I found interesting because of not only the story, but also the reaction to some people, which was about Darius Bagley. Shout out to Clutch Sports, hashtag Clutch Sports Gang. Who's going to skip college and intern for New Balance and like get a cool M for it for 3 months of work.
At least that's what they call it, an internship.
Yeah,
this boy signed a sneaker
internship.
deal. Like what y'all talking about.
Yeah, I know. I used to give young ladies internship. Emma. Anyway,
you paying $1 million.
Yeah, no, not at all. You know what I mean? Chicken cheesesteak, that's pretty much it. Anyway, but Darius Bagley is skipping college and interning in New Balance. First of all, shout out to New Balance for trying to get back into the sneaker game in the NBA, which is crazy because you got Puma trying to get back in. New Balance, people don't recognize New Balance was last New Balance sneaker I remember was the James Worthies. James Worthy did everything on New Balance.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like the face of New Balance basketball, and I don't remember nobody having a deal with him since. But so they're trying to get back into the sneaker game, which is cool. Money for other athletes.
I'm actually ecstatic about that, Jim, because I had them. I forgot the name of the foot condition that I had.
Plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis, yeah. So remember the podiatrist that we used to have on the show. She told me on the show, I need to wear shoes like Asics, New Balance, stuff like that. So I wanted to try to get back into hooping, and I'm sitting here online scouring like, yo, they selling the high top Asics, like they got any Asic ball shoes, and I can't find any.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I know that New Balance is jumping back in the game, hopefully their basketball shoes are just as, medically correct as their regular shoes.
Listen, man.
Basley, my favorite player. Give me some
I mentioned
Air
before
Basley.
in the show. That I'm like a Nike shareholder, but I rock New Balance because New Balance, they from outside of the athletics because they really haven't been in the basketball game, but their sneakers are the most comfortable sneakers. Like I feel like I'll step in the clouds when I wear New Balance sometimes. Like they got the comfort game on lock. Like shout out to Nike and Reebok and Adidas, but from a comfort standpoint, y'all ain't banging with a New Balance, dog. Yeah. But back to the story, what I found interesting about it is because it's like with college basketball, they're gonna ride this wave until it's like completely gone, because it seems like people are turning like the corner on recognizing that it's a conspiracy and they're stealing money, because when you talk about the NBA, what they want to do with the developmental league, or excuse me, the G League,
the developmental league.
All this came from VAR has shown us the way, man. Uncle VAR showed us the way. Now, the G League is making the move they're making. You have this. You have guys playing over. Brandon Jennings already went overseas, but now this is a whole new option. Cats gonna start having like internships at Nike and Reebok and Puma, and it's gonna go beyond basketball. Like it's gonna go like, I got an internship at Prada for 3 months. Like it's gonna be crazy. Like
a bunch of yays out there trying to get into the game.
And shout out to Rich Paul who runs Clutch Sports. He's one of LeBron's partners, man.
Because
Ralph, again, we got to give them credit for like everything that they're trying to do. Like, and it's funny because I was asking my wife, I was like, well, I wonder why more cats haven't followed the LeBron blueprint in terms of like putting your homies on. And she was like, and she made a good point to me, which was like, well, you got to have friends that are willing to do it for one, and you got to have the right friends. Like some of these cats may not have the right friends. Like, he happened to have the right friends that they had that plan and stuck to it. But and also I want to get your perspective on like what Jim Boeheim said.
Because he had some not too kind words to say. He was a little sub.
No, he was. Yeah, he's astute jab. I mean, Jim Boeheim. I mean, you have to understand why he's upset because the guy was signed to Syracuse, so he's backed out. But you know, he threw a little sub, like acting like he was asking a question. You know, good luck to Baisley. LeBron just did what's best for his client. He is LeBron's client, right? So, you know, he definitely threw
I guess that's not really a sub. That's not really a sub.
Right, true. It's not really a sub.
Yeah.
He was direct with it. So, like I said, you can understand why he's mad.
It sounded to me like he said, "Don't one of you guys got sickle cell or something?" That's kind of what that was. That was the NBA equivalent of that.
Yo, he said F Clutch Sports as a management company, a record label, and a crew.
LeBron and his posse.
So he mad, but you know he has a reason to be mad. But you know, there's nothing he gonna do. Nothing he gonna get done by throwing shots at LeBron because you know this is another round
that
LeBron
won.
won.
Now is this though? Does this start something? Does this start a new trend? Like does this become something, or is this an isolated incident?
I don't know. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle because I don't think everybody's going to be able to do this. Like, how many internships is Nike and New Balance and all of these companies going to have if everybody's going to start trying to do that? Because you know damn well they're not going to have dudes up in the office doing nothing. But if I'm him, or at least if I'm his parents, I'm going to make sure that they are, though. Like, teach him how to be an executive. You know what I'm saying? But they said he's going to be working out because he's not going to have anywhere to work out and play ball. So he got, you know, for the next 6 months or so, he got to look for pickup games. I'm pretty sure LeBron and them will have the trainers for him.
He's going to be taken care of. Because here's the thing, Paul. I don't know if you saw. Here you go with the Boeheim. Yeah, LeBron. I don't know if you saw Rich Paul's interview on Get Up, but he kind of broke the whole thing down, and he kind of made the point too that it's a timing thing too, with him hearing that New Balance wanted to get back into the game. All right, well, how about this? Right. And they're willing to do that because they're trying to get back. They're taking a gamble. Yeah, exactly. They're taking a gamble, but it also makes him look like an out of the box thinker as an agent, which will do nothing but help Clutch continue to grow. Like their roster is crazy. Like all the young, like most of the best young players are on their roster. Yeah,
because you know what? I think Clutch would grow either way just because of the LeBron backing. But what's a plus, by all accounts, Rich Paul is a very good agent so far. That's only going to add to it. Like, you might come here because you might be starstruck, but once you get here, you're going to realize, like, yo, this dude really knows what he's doing. And he's really,
I love shout to our brother Hank who made the point about like watching these dudes make moves is kind of inspiring. It is dope though because I see like Rock Nation sign up a bunch of cats too. So at some point, like the whole NBA gonna be Rock Nation and Clutch.
No doubt.
And then a scandal going to come out of nowhere. Watch. But
me too, in all their offices. But it's definitely a nice.
Planet Me Too, what?
It's a move. It's a nice move. And even I keep calling him Chris Paul. Rich Paul, he even said like he's not necessarily trying to start a trend. He's like, because he wouldn't just tell every player, he wouldn't recommend that they not go to college. He's like, he doesn't have anything against that path. He's just trying to steer people to what's the best path for them. And he felt in this kid's particular situation, this was the best for him. The next kid, it might be something else. So he's going to steer him to what's the best for him. So he claims, at least, he's not necessarily trying to start a trend or anything like that, but he is providing new options. And he thinks this option, kind of arose from the fact that the system is broken. It's a broken system. So it allowed for this to happen. So
now I want to see what other kind of out the box thinking they got. Like, what are they going to do next? They're going to like just have like they're gonna create the pickup league where you get like the best and all the McDonald's players playing a pickup league against each other until that 1 year passes. Like it's crazy, man.
Pretty much like Varley. They just play on different teams every day. I got winners.
Check's gonna clear though. Check's gonna clear.
Like, I know. Check's gonna clear, and you're gonna be on national TV talking about I got next. on the
would
side.
definitely watch that though.
I watch that. I'm about to
that.
say I would watch some. I watch Rough House. Let's make a Rough House league.
Yo, I definitely would. Like basketball translates to TV very well. Anyway, man, that's interesting, man. But those are the stories that happened this past week while all you guys were on the grind. We definitely got to give some birthday shout-outs before we move forward.
Yeah,
let's talk about this thing of ours.
Quick birthday shout-outs. The birthday shout-outs are brought to you by your creator. Shout out to J.A. Adande, who turns 48 years old. I think J.A. is based out in L.A., if I'm not mistaken. Great journalist. Pat Swilling turns 54. You remember back when we were in like middle school, we used to collect football cards, and that's when the New Orleans Saints had this crazy linebacking core. Linebacker was one of the dudes on that linebacking core. So shout out to Pat Swilling, who turned 54 years old. That shows you how young you are when you're playing these sports, though, because I damn sure could swear that we were in middle school when he was, balling at least a young player in his prime, and he's only 54 years old in comparison to what we are. I ain't telling nobody what we are, but it's like we right there, and you already in the league. Young man's game. Mike Eruzione, one of the people from the Miracle on Ice, one of the players on the U.S. team that beat the Russians. Another story that's framed crazily when you don't have the context, because they made a whole movie about this. And for the people who didn't know before they actually watched the movie, they pulled this great upset against the Russians, but that wasn't even the championship game. They still had to go out and win the next night. And if they don't do that, then none of this means anything. So it's one of those type of things. Same thing, Jimmy, once I saw the 30 for 30 on the high school team from Dallas, and I realized how they Hollywooded up one of my favorite football movies, Friday Night Lights. Like, I don't think that was the championship game either. But, of course, in the movie, they had to climax it with that being the championship game. And, they come in like a yard short of winning the game, which was probably another lie. But but anyway, shout out to Mike Eruzione. Dave Cowens, NBA fame, turned 70. Dan Issel, another former NBA player and coach, turned 70. Bobby Knight, crazy Coach Knight, turned 78 years old. I wonder if he still got the same temper at 78, because somebody lay his ass out. Man, acting crazy. And I'm going to give a rest in peace shout out to Jet Kent Cook, or do we? Former owner of the Washington professional football team. He was born October 25th, 1912, and he passed on April 6th, 1997. So we'd like to give a War Room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays. Salute.
My birthday, yay!
All right, real quick, you can check out our website, warroomsports.com. If you want to call in, we got some people on the line, so we're about to get to them now to speak with us about any of today's topics, mainly NBA, because that's what we're about to rap about. But I know people have been holding, so I know they're going to want to mention something else. You can dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1. We'll see that. We'll try to get to you so you can hop on.
Yeah. Yes, sir. It's definitely time to talk about this thing of ours, La Costa Nostra, in my Wu-Tang voice. But NBA Rap is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technology. Do you and your business need a custom website? Do you and your business need a custom website? Here's what you got to do. Hit up Digital Extreme Technologies at digitalextremetech.com, or give them a call at 267-205-4203. Tell them War Room Sports sent you to get you the hookup. But it's that time, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about this thing of ours, and that is the National Basketball Association.
Basketball was my favorite sport. I love the way they dribble up and down the court.
Yo, we gotta start our basketball talk with the story that has pretty much dominated the headlines the last week. Like I told you several times, I cannot wait for the 30 for 30 on this. This is literally a 30-second altercation
that has a gazillion think pieces, roundtable discussions, 7 books written about it already, 44
Some stuff going on the sides and the stands, family implications.
Yo, this is like an amazing thing. It shows you how like people are literally making history, and I can't wait to see like 10 years from now when they start to pontificate about it and add like so much sauce to it that probably didn't happen. But we're talking about the Lakers-Rockets brawl that happened last week, in which Olive Oil, as we call him in the group chat, and that's Brandon Ingram, started it by pushing one James Harden, and then you had your man Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo get into it when Rajon Rondo, I would say allegedly, but I think we've seen the slowed down footage kind of spit on him. Now, whether he did it on purpose or was getting his mouthpiece out or who knows, or was it a second shooter in the grassy knoll? We don't know. But at the same time, it's a second spitter. At the same time, they exchanged hands. Hands was exchanged, and suspensions can't happen after the fact. Rather short suspensions. It was brawls in the stands. Like,
right.
I want to get your perspective on this whole thing overall. What do you think about this, like, quick 20, 30-second thing becoming what it became?
Well, when it first started, I'm like, why is Olive Oil so mad? I don't understand. I mean, but it is an NBA contest, so we have no idea, what kind of verbal jabbing and maybe physical, stuff going on throughout the game up until that point. But the foul that he got called for, it seemed so, you know what I'm saying? Like the foul was called, he was chilling at the basket stand, and you thought that was it. And then when James Harden crossed him and tried to get the call to be an and one, he seemed to just lose his stuff. Shoved him. When the ref came over to give him a technical, he jumps up in the ref's face. So this dude is angry with everybody. Born Ready gets him out of there. And then when the other thing starts, like he comes flying in with considering he's 6'9", 86 pounds, it probably didn't hurt anybody, but he comes in with a flying punch. And then, rewinding just a little bit before that second part even started, I had given Rondo the benefit of the doubt at first because how I always think, I've always thought that Chris Paul, he's a little bit of a tough guy. When you're a point guard, especially an all-star, all-world point guard, you can kind of do and talk to people however you like. You can do whatever you want because you always have bigs that got your back. You know what I'm saying? So you're never really going to have to get into them. All you got to do is play tough. Kind of reminded me of Isaiah Thomas, even though, Zeke took it a little farther than Chris. Zeke will punch you in your mouth. So it kind of reminded me of that type of situation. So I've always thought he was a fake tough guy. I thought that he was pulling the spit card because, first of all, it wasn't a white player, because if it was a white player, he could have just pulled the N-word card, like we do. So I'm thinking he's like, oh, he talking about he spit on me. I'm like, yo, Chris is lying. And then the magic of the internet, the people went to work and got us a million different angles, a million different zooms to see that this man really did spit in his face. And that's a deal breaker right there, because Chris Paul, now that we know that he really did get spit on, like we saw his reaction, he proved everything that I've ever said about him, though. The fake tough guy stuff, because I think getting spit, getting your face spit in especially, might be the worst thing that somebody can do to you, minus killing you. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather you punch me in my face, open hand slap me to embarrass me, than spit on me, because that's just a trifling, disrespectful way to go about something. So he gets spat on, and, he just puts his hand on the dude's head, like, doing no stuff like that. Dude, seriously. If you spit in my face, I'm going to try to end you on national television. Right, I'm going to try to end you on national television. Like, we might have a Sprewell, Carlissimo situation on midcourt. Y'all got to pry my hands from around this dude's neck.
What was shocking to me, and I don't know whether, because I know he's like the players union rep guy, whatever. Like, Does he have that much? Does he have that much discipline, or is he a punk? Because to me, the natural reaction is not even to think; it's to automatically swing. Like if somebody spits on you, you gotta like knock their jaw. You gotta automatic, and you gotta catch him. Like you just gotta knock him out. Like you gotta let your hands go. So to me, it was like and
you might have to MMA him. You might have to keep punching him when he already asleep.
You might have to no mercy. You're supposed to earn a 25-game suspension based upon that. Like that's what shocked me. That wasn't your natural. How you going like somebody spit on you? You can say, "Why did you do that?" and point in their face.
The funny thing is, people who's never been in fights before. I listen to shows, podcasts, satellite radio shows, just watching things all week, and you can tell the people who's never been in a fight before. One host kept saying, "Well, Chris Paul should have gotten more because he was standing there trying to gouge his eyes out." I'm like, man, he's not trying to gouge his eyes out. Like he's basically just trying to point at his head and sun him. Like he's not trying to gouge his eyes. And he went on the whole show, kept saying, "Well, he tried to gouge his eyes out." I'm like, oh my God.
Yo, shout to Tough Juice, Paul, aka Karan Butler, who said that Brandon Ingram did a great job. To me, that was the most hilarious thing. He did a great job. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So, no, like you said, the suspensions did come down. Chris Paul got 2 games. Rondo got 3 games, right? And Brandon Ingram got 4. I think the NBA has gotten way soft. It might have something to do with the fact that Kiki Vandeweghe is the guy handing out punishment now. Kiki Vandeweghe used to get in the Rumble like every 6 games. So it might have something to do with that, but like I was thinking something more. Like I think Chris Paul was fair. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a punk and he didn't react the way that he should have reacted to get 25 games. I think 2 is cool for him because the NBA, they're going to get you just for swinging punches. He was in a situation where he had to swing, but in the NBA that doesn't mean nothing. But I would agree with him getting the least of the punishment, getting the 2 games for engaging in the brawl. Rondo, I think he should have been somewhere up around at least 6 to 8. You spit in a man's face, you know what I'm saying? Even, maybe more than that just because it's being trifling, but my emotions are in that part. So 6 to 8, I'll say emotionless. Brandon Ingram, because he started the whole thing and then escalated it a second time, I think he should have been done for like 10 games.
It's a light suspension when they asked Ingram, and he was like, "Oh, that's cool. I thought I was gonna get more."
He thought he was gonna get more. Exactly. Like Melo and them, Melo punched the dude and then backpedaled and got like 20 games. Like how many games did Melo get when he stole Marty Cow? Like
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I thought the league went a little easy on these dudes. Could have a lot to do with the fact that 2 of these guys plays on the team with LeBron James. He's the face of the league. He's your guy out in LA. This happened on his home debut on national TV, but with LeBron being on, this is a conspiracy theory I heard, but it kind of makes sense. It makes sense to me because if I were the commissioner, I probably would agree and do the same thing. We all know, it might sound cliche, but certain franchises, certain historical franchises, especially the Los Angeles Lakers, like the NBA is better when the Lakers are good. LeBron James, the greatest player in the game, joins the Lakers, and from the outlook of things, it seems a lot of people already think it might be a hard task for them to make it to the playoffs. Having a bunch of dudes suspended for a bunch of games because the NBA is being emotional like they usually do is not good for business right now because you cannot have an NBA playoffs with LeBron, may not be in his prime, but his prime, he doesn't have to be in his prime to be the best player in the league. But LeBron's still playing like this. You cannot have an NBA playoffs without LeBron in it. I mean, it was his choice to go over there, but I'm pretty sure they love the fact that he's in LA and you can get your league's marquee franchise
back on the right track. So you can't have dudes suspended for like 20 games and have LeBron there struggling by himself.
Or maybe Kiki is putting the word out there. It's lit. Let's exchange hands too and get these ratings up.
or that. But, yeah, but you just can't you can't have that because it's not like KCP and somebody else off the bench or something was rumbling. This is a team that a lot of people don't believe in too much, and they're struggling a little bit already. But you can't take Rondo and Brandon Ingram, who might have been who was supposed to be the team's best player at least before LeBron even got there. You can't take those dudes out of the mix for too long. So if that's if there's any truth to that, I understand. Trust me.
Let me ask you this question, because this is something that I don't think a lot of people were even bringing up, because it was so much about who was wrong and who won the fight. But I noticed the first game, watching them play, that it seemed to be a bit much for him overall, because it was LeBron's debut as a Laker, and when they played Portland, it was almost a playoff atmosphere. Yeah. And even that game had a playoff atmosphere. Do you think that the players this is a bit much for them?
No, I mean it is, and especially when young players, when LeBron comes to play with young players, you're always gonna have that shell shock, at least for the first part of the season, while you're trying to get that chemistry, because they're not used to every game. Even though they play for the Lakers, the aura around the Lakers haven't been what it's supposed to be for years now. When LeBron comes, even when he hasn't won the championship, it's like he's the defending champ, because he's LeBron, every team is going to give you their best shot, especially now that he's coming west. The teams in the West are basically on a mission to say, you ain't coming over here with all that. You can kill them. You can kiss them finals appearances goodbye. So he's getting their best shot every night, and in turn, these young guys who aren't used to, a lot of dudes probably took it easy on them last season. They're getting people's best shots, so they're not ready for that kind of pressure yet. But a season can do a lot for people. But yeah, that's a good point that you made. And shout out to Skyview in the chat room, who said Rajon went Roots episode 5 on him.
Yo.
Rondo.
Yo.
And shout out to Neil up in the chat room. She says she just downloaded Smart People Only Read the Sports. That's because you're a smart person.
Neil.
Shout out for that.
God bless you, Tanil. You're the best for that. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. You can tell me if you hate it too. That's cool. But
we'll just block you from the show.
No, it's all love though. Listen, I appreciate anybody that shares intimate time with my body of work. But anyway, listen though. Speaking of how the league is run now, I mean, if she wanna, at JW the Blue. No, never mind. Hey, listen. David Stern, right? Who was the former NBA commissioner back in the news? Shout out to Adam Silver.
Well, wait, hold on, Jim. Let's go to the phone line real quick before we do that, because we got Naj on the line just in case he wanted to say anything about what we just moved off of real quick. Naj, what's going on?
Naj.
What up, y'all? What up? I gave y'all that warning about Cam Voorhees, man. I told you can't kill him. He keep coming, man. It's a problem.
I know.
It ain't gonna be pretty, but he just keep coming. That's all I'm saying.
It's a bad week for Philly sports.
Pause on that.
It's a bad week for Philly sports.
For sure. But the Lakers thing or the suspensions, I got a different idea about that, about why they were so light. I think now sports teams or sports leagues can kind of more target their fan base and realize who their fan base actually is. So the MAGA crowd within NBA circles is kind of now a little more filtered, so they know how many of those people there are, so they don't have to overreact like Malice at the Palace and stuff like that, because they realize the majority of their fan base is actually entertained by fights or don't care much and don't see it as the end of the world that some people got in a fight. So I think now it's just like, we know our fan base. They're not tripping over this. Okay, couple games, let's move on. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I never thought about that, but you are right though. I guess the Malice at Palace, like they were exchanging blows with the fans, so that's like I always put that like off to the side when I'm thinking about this. Considering they were actually you're fighting your fans, but you are right though. That you
beat up the crowd, man.
Like you can't.
But think about
you do know who you're.
Right, but think about how archaic old media was. Some lady in Kansas would write a letter to the network. I did not like da-da-da-da-da-da. And they would have to react to that as if that was real, you know what I mean, crowdsourcing. So I think now they're way better at that. As far as
now
that's a good point.
You got Twitter and Instagram, and you got people on there hyping it. So they're like, oh, yeah, this is cool.
Right.
This is cool. You got the world
we got
star.
a good reaction from that fight.
Listen, I was telling them, I was like, listen, this has to get its own documentary. I've seen like 100 think pieces. I've seen like round tables. I'm like, it's going to come up. It's going to come up in midterm election debates. Like, it was literally like 20 seconds.
Did he spit or did he not? Right.
Yeah, it's like 20 seconds.
And Rondo's still denying it, and he calling it Spitgate. Like, come on, man.
But I got a
Modern
problem
technology
with
got
saying
you, though.
straight up spit. I feel like that's spittle. That's mouthpiece pulling out or trying to talk, and you just catch a spittle. I feel like if you ever been in a cipher as a rapper, rapping with people outside a club or whatever when you was a young kid, you got a little spittle every once in a while because some dude couldn't control. You know what I mean?
Rondo's a sneaky dude, though. I think Rondo fully
was
understands.
so disrespectful that if he wanted to spit on him, it was gonna be Tupac spitting on him, like ha ha, like he wanted to do that.
Tupac
but
and
listen,
the Mercedes.
I think Rondo understands the effect of spittle. I think he's so sneaky. He understands the fact that he could try to make this look like a mistake, if indeed he got caught. If you
give Rondo a lot of credit.
He looks both ways before he does it to make sure the ref isn't looking directly at him.
So you're saying it's intentional spittle.
That's another level.
Spittle. Because spittle, spittle has always been a mistake. This is intentional spittle. He knows, I have my mouthpiece in, so it's not going to come out like regular spit. But if I just go like that hard enough, because he wasn't saying anything to me. So
listen, all I know is this, right? I do know that I've been in sports arguments at a bar or something, and like if you get you hyped up and you talking, like you do get spittle. Like it's a difference to someone just hawk spitting in your face. But either way, like if y'all have that history, like Chris Paul still got swing though.
All day. He still got to swing off the rip, not wait to do the late shuffle and act like he wanted to fight. That's similar to Melo showing up outside the locker room with KG. He didn't want to fight, but he had to let his woman know that he was, you know what I mean? Hey, I put the effort in. Like, you see it on video.
Yeah.
But, man,
he had to protect some Cheerios.
I fully believe Chris Paul, when he's retired, there's going to be some kind of Ponzi scheme, scandal, or something to come down. He's just a nefarious, raggedy dude, man. He's known for low blows and all that. I just don't F with dude. Like, he's a top 10 point guard of all time. Respect his talent. But just as a dude, man, it's just hard to respect Chris.
And
when you
I agree
crazy
in the same boat, man. I tell these dudes about Chris Paul all the time.
Even amongst his peers, cats don't like him.
Right.
Big Baby was like, I played with both of them. Chris Paul, a terrible teammate. Like, dang.
Right.
He wanted to chip with
somehow
Rondo.
He got
ride for Rondo.
Yeah, somehow he got to get. And then with Brandon Ingram, though, you got to be careful, man. A dude that tall and thin, he may have some Tommy Hearns heft to his punches, so maybe he can scrap. Because he acted like this was, hey, I get down like this. Like, he acted like
this was normal for him.
I'm still. Can one of y'all tell me?
James Harden. Oh, sorry.
I mean, but he does.
Can one of y'all tell me? Can one of y'all tell me what he was mad at? I still don't know.
That's
what got
what I
him
want to
that
get into. James Harden will drive you to that. This dude is driving all game, throwing elbows at people, diving into you, getting all these ticky-tack calls, almost traveling half the time, and you can't stop him. So, and he's talking as if he's killing you on some, like some Kobe or Bron type stuff, when he's killing you on some, the rules say, I can get away with this loophole, that loophole, and that loophole. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that being frustrating.
It was just frustration built up.
Yeah, to me, when I was listening to what's his face after the game, the center, JaVale. When JaVale was talking after the game, and he was like, you know, the way they was talking, the way they were carrying, like it was bound to happen. We say it's only so many times you can poke a bear before the bear attacks. I'm like, all right, so maybe they were talking trash, but to me, like you have to
only
keep
so
your
long
composure
that fake
because
thugs can pretend.
yeah, pretty much. If you show this, and people know that this young team, you can just get them, you know, in their emotions by doing this. You set yourself up for the long run. It's not going to work out well for you.
Yeah, they're gonna have suspensions all through the season.
Yeah,
but you know who they,
but
you know, you don't have
see
to
him
worry
as
about
goons
getting
like
riled
that.
up.
I just think it's hard.
Your man Lonzo ain't
he's a
rumbling
particular
nobody.
dude. Exactly. He is not here for that. He was
he tried his hardest not to run up to the fight. He waited till everything was cool.
Yo, even Harden was the original person that got pushed when everything broke out. Harden was already back down court.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, and we all know he don't even play no defense. Why you back down court?
Right.
You supposed to be going to the foul line.
I get back on defense.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be in the foul line. My thing is, you cried about getting to the foul line, then everything broke out. You damn near the other side of the basketball court. Like, damn. You know, but the whole thing was amazing to me. And I guess because it was LeBron's first home game that you know, everybody was watching. But
I'm getting messages.
Yeah,
we got one more call on the line to get to, and we got 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Like, no, he's actually sending us messages on social media now. Like, yo, don't leave me here.
Thanks for your call. Thanks for your call as always, Nas.
No,
we appreciate it, man.
Hey, well, let me just say this though, bro. Let me just say this. Always do shows with y'all. Don't talk about sports in the barbershop, bro. I just found out most people are 10 levels worse than any sports opinion you could ever think of. That's what's in the barbershop. Don't talk about sports.
Talk about this every day.
Right, that's a great point. I report to them about what they say in the barbershop. Like in the barbershop, my barber knows, but I don't even like when they're talking sports. I don't even tell them that I do sports or know anything about sports because their conversations be, these conversations are terrible. I'm like, do y'all watch these? All right, but we.
All right, Nas.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace on peace.
Peace.
We got Rob on the line. He's sending messages like, man, y'all better not leave me on the line. Rob, what's going on, man? We got like 2 minutes. Sorry about getting to you so late. What's going on, brother?
Yo, man, yeah. Thanks for leaving me hanging, you know what I'm saying? Almost like strange fruit. Pause. Hello. Wait, what's up? How y'all doing?
What's up, King? What's up, King?
Nothing, man. I love the conversation y'all had about Uncle Malcolm. I love the conversation y'all had about that. Now let's get to the Lakers real quick. I'm kind of glad because I know people don't like Chris Paul, but I always thought like Rondo was a punk because he always liked to do scuffles and you never see him throw hands. And he just likes to wrestle. It's just like, you know. Like that matters. Like that matters. Like, come on, man. I put money that Derek Fisher will knock his block off. That's all.
I wouldn't, but I get what you're saying. I think Rondo a little bit of a sucker too. Chris Paul a sucker, but yeah, I ain't got Fisher knocking nobody's block off. But
I think Ingram knocking both of them out. Olive oil about that life.
Yo, you know why though? I thought about it. Like y'all, Nas might be right because he does sit back every day and watch Popeye and Bluto rumble, so he had to learn something. So,
Olive oil was about that life.
And then he always got to fight Bluto off from raping him. So yeah. I can see that. I can see it.
I will say this too, man. I will say this too. The Eagles. I've been trying to tell everybody for a long time about the coaching, about, it is what it is. But you know what? I have to say, we have to do an intervention. Hello?
Yo, Rob, go ahead, man. We only got 1 minute, man. Hurry up.
Okay, we have to do an intervention with some, immature fans because for me, hey, you know how when you, like, grown up as them, like, you don't have the same, I don't know, you're not I'm not saying you ain't a passionate Eagles fan, but it's like, you don't get all lackadaisical anymore with these losses, Our team won a Super Bowl. That was one of the best times I ever had as a sports fan, other than being spoiled and being a Lakers fan for the last, 15 years. But, other than that, I'm good. I know y'all got more calls on the line, so I'm gonna say one thing.
No, we ain't got calls. We gotta go though. Show's over, but we'll get to you earlier next week, man.
I gotta say one thing with Uncle Malcolm. Compromise is never really a good thing unless it's a collective. You know, I think compromise a lot of times backyard deals they never work out.
He had a group too, though, so there was a collective. It was just another part of the group that broke off. But Rob, we gotta holler at you,
man. All right, man. We got Rob.
It was his group. It wasn't a collective.
All right. And shout out to Casey Mack because he said in the group chat, Dallas Carter beat Odessa Permian in real life. No, I know that part. I was saying that in real life, I don't believe that it was the state championship game. I think they Hollywooded that up. I think it was like the semifinal or something like that. But I'll check it. Or you can check it. And let me
I just want to say before we get out of here that the Greek Freak scares me because I know people were trying to make the argument about that other boy, but this boy scares me, and that's all I'm going to say, y'all.
Does he?
Anyway, it's time to get out of here. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter. Everybody who got through, the various ways you got through, we appreciate it. Shout out to Gus Griffin for sending in his picks. Listen, catch us next week live right here on demand. You know how to cut us. Everything is at warroomsports.com. Next week, we're going to talk about the NBA, the MLB postseason, kind of what we did tonight, and also whoever acts at JoJo, we're going to get him a award out next week. So until then, enjoy everything in the world of sports. Like I said, the hub is warroomsports.com to find everything. Get my book, Sports, the Book of Sports, thebook.com, or at warroomsports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. warroomsports.com. Get that mobile app. It's knocked out. 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, PJ, Doc Bay, B. Austin. I'm Jock. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.